Hello, beautiful community, beautiful family. The smell of maple syrup. When I think of maple syrup, it makes me feel comforted. It makes me feel like I belong. It makes me feel cared for. It makes me feel safe. When I smell maple syrup, when I taste maple syrup, it elates my entire body, and that is a positive trigger. So let's play a game. In our childhood, no matter how bad it was, you have both positive memories and negative memories. And that was the foundation to which your brain was formed as a child. When it comes down to all of the negative memories and negative triggers, that can create a very, very, very huge reaction in someone. But what can also create a huge reaction in someone is a positive feeling trigger from our childhood. A trigger doesn't just have to be this huge emotional event that creates this upheaval for us, which is usually the ones that we notice the very most. We can also be positively triggered, and we can be triggered through our emotions, which means we have this extremely positive emotional experience and it triggers joy and happiness and whatever else within us. But we can also experience a trigger through things like objects, smells, small little experiences. For example, a negative trigger for me is when a little piece of hair somehow ends up in a drink of mine or in a piece of food, and it has nothing to do with the hair. It has to do with the childhood memories or experiences that I associate having hair in one's food or drink with. Now, to the opposite, when I smell maple syrup, it reminds me of waking up at my Oma's house, which is the word for grandma, her making us crepes, her catering to us, caring for us, deeply loving us, deeply showing us containment and belonging, the safety of her and my Opa's household, the safety of her and my Opa, the environment that they had created there, and the experiences of growing up with them as a part of my family, and also the experiences of being connected to my father's side of the family in and of itself, because that side of my family are some of the most dearest, most positive connections that I have in this lifetime. That is where my true belonging comes from. That's where my roots come from. That's where my culture comes from, everything. And so when I smell maple syrup, it takes me back to that experience. It takes me back to the most positive aspects of my foundation, which, guess what, are a part of what helped build a ladder for me to get over the negative experiences and the negative traumas that I went through. So it's always hand in hand. We never have all one contrast or all the other contrast. So we are going to do a little positive focus exercise, and that is for you to think of and try to find whether it's a smell, whether it's a sound, whether it's a taste, whether it's a food, whether it's a place or an environment, a texture, whatever it is, a certain way that someone touches you or hugs you or whatever, or even a specific person in your life if you'd like, or a specific kind of animal. So I want you to find or make an entire list of these positive triggers that you don't just know because of the emotional experience behind them, but you actually know the experience of this thing elates these positive emotions within you and brings you back to childhood memories. You can start by figuring this out by just thinking of things in your life that creates an extreme positive reaction in you to kind of figure out, if you're not really sure where the childhood memories play into this, kind of think about all the different like random objects or random experiences that are just so random that create this deep awareness within you and this profound clarity within you and this profound moment and reaction to it that is different than most things in your life. For example, I really like different fruits, and I really love walnuts, but even though I love the taste and the nutrients involved in those foods, it doesn't do anything to the same experience as when I'm smelling maple syrup or tasting maple syrup. And there's something so much more profound about that experience for me than just liking the taste of something or having a preference for something. For example, another weird one for me is the taste of mustard. It reminds me of my mom. So the first step is I want you to make a list of all of the possible triggers that are positive for you and try to find the ones that provoke the deepest positive feelings for you and and try to relate them back to where does it come from in your childhood? What memories do you associate those things with? And what positive feelings do you associate those with? That's step one. Step two, I want you to deeply resource this state. If you're choosing maple syrup like me, I want you to take the feeling of maple syrup into every cell of your being. I want you to smell the maple syrup. I want you to literally go get some maple syrup and smell it and taste it and just like bask in how it makes you feel and just expand that feeling throughout your entire body and expand it bigger and bigger. Kind of feel where that positive feeling takes place. Does it take place in your chest? Does it take place in your legs? What are the sensations like of that feeling? What are the textures like of that feeling? Does it have a motion? Does it have a movement? Does it have a color? Does it have a smell? When you get a good feeling for that positive sensation in your body, I want you to expand it and expand it and expand it and expand it and literally set a timer for at least 10 minutes of just expanding this feeling, and you can make it 5 minutes if you don't have as much time. Then what we're gonna do after you've already resourced the state, I want you to then play a game of mystery clue and try to figure out what parts of your life are made up of maple syrup or the resourced state that you have chosen. What parts of your life, whether you're seeing the same feeling as the maple syrup or the same feeling as the emotion the maple syrup brings you, what parts of your life in your adult world are built on the foundation of maple syrup. I want you to become aware of all of the ways of those positive memories and those positive feeling states being a part of who you are today and what life you're living today and what's going on in your life today. I want you to literally play detective to figure out all the different ways that you are made of maple syrup today. I then want you to make a list of all of the ways that you could add more maple syrup to your life. And obviously, when I say the word maple syrup, I'm talking about a metaphor for your resourced state, whatever that may be. So I want you to think of, okay, if I have it in these areas already, this is how I can capitalize on those areas. This is how I can bring more of the feeling of maple syrup into my life. This is what I can do to get that feeling back on a daily basis. This is what I can do to add more of this in my life. This is what I can do to capitalize and expand on that part of my foundation. This is the thing. When it comes to who we are today, we may be exceptionally held back by our trauma or exceptionally held back by the negative experiences that we were built on foundation-wise. But we can also capitalize on and take advantage of the positive ones that we did have, because that is equally as part of your programming, and it is deeply rooted into you, and it is deeply a part of who you are today. And if you can capitalize on that, and if you can bring more of that foundation that already exists within you into your life, it is going to help you with the negative experiences that you're having and have had, and it is going to help you learn to overcome them, and it is just going to make your life feel a little bit better. So play this game out with me. Let me know how it goes in the comment section below, and I am sending you so much love for the rest of your day.